On January 1st, I'm writing myself a check for $25,000. In previous videos, we've talked about living and working remotely, but in this video, we want to dive deeper and go into what we do and exactly how we make money. Our goal is to be able to work from anywhere in the world, and hopefully we inspire others with our story. I'm in tech recruiting, I run an agency, and Julia just quit her 9-to-5. She's going all in on content. So let us know in the comments what you guys do for a living, if you work remotely, if you work in an office, what are your goals? If you've seen the recent videos, we just moved from Miami and now we're in the Washington, D.C. area. So we have a ton of videos planned. And without further ado, let's get into the video and like and subscribe if you want to see more.
Okay, so I mentioned in the previous video that I recently quit my 9-to-5 and want to pursue social media full time. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I do and how I make money. Doing social media is not something that comes out of the blue. We have been doing it for about 2 to 3 years now, and we do also have multiple streams of income. So just to give you a little bit of background, I worked in corporate solar sales for about 10 years. I started my career in residential solar and kind of worked my way up to utility scale solar sales. And I really liked it, but I just didn't see myself doing this long term. And I've always kind of wanted to be an entrepreneur and have my own company. So we started doing social media about 2 years ago and kind of learning all the skills and getting into what is needed to make good content. And now it's at the point where I feel like it's scaled enough where we're making a little bit of income, and I also see a clear vision in my mind of how I can make this work going forward. So when it comes to social media, there are tons of ways to make money online, and we do have a few streams of income at the moment, and hopefully we can build these out more in the future. So one of these streams of income is our YouTube channel. So thank you so much y'all for watching. It's still a little part of our income, but we're very happy to see all the engagement and the traction that we've been getting lately. And then another part of it is my personal Instagram and TikTok page, which is It's Julia Lauren. That is also still a very small part, but the vast majority of my income at the moment comes from something called UGC. User-generated content is basically content that is made by the user of the product. But the fact that anybody can do it does not mean that it's simple, because a lot goes into making these videos. A lot of it starts with researching the brand and making sure you understand fully what it stands for, scripting your videos, making sure you have a good hook, call to action, all the things that come into putting a good video together on social media. So it definitely takes a bit of practice before you understand what a good UGC video is. But there's also a whole admin side to the business, like setting up an LLC, doing cold outreaches, contracts, invoices, a bunch of stuff that comes with it that nobody really sees. So how much can you actually make doing UGC? Well, it depends. It depends on if the client wants to run ads with it, if the client only wants to use it on their own social media pages, what your skill level is, if they want certain usage rights. But overall, you can make a lot of money doing UGC. So when you're starting out and maybe you're doing this part-time next to your 9-to-5, you can maybe make anywhere from like $500 to $2,000 extra a month, which is already great. But if you do it full-time and your skill level is a bit higher than average, then you can definitely make upward of 10K months. And I've even seen people talking about 30K months when it comes to UGC. So yeah, most of my income currently comes from UGC, but I also do brand deals on my regular page, It's Julia Lauren. And like I mentioned, you don't have to post UGC on any of your regular pages, so you won't see any of that on my regular It's Julia Lauren page. However, I do have a separate page dedicated to UGC and content tips, which is called By Julia Lauren. So if you're curious about learning more about UGC, or if you just want to know a little bit more how to make good content, definitely follow me on there. So yeah, I really enjoy making content. Whenever I started, I never thought I would like it as much as I do. So if you're thinking about making content, definitely see this as a sign to just start posting your videos. And I really hope that I can keep doing this going forward. And the best part of it all is we can do this anywhere in the world and you can make your own schedule.
What's going on, guys? This is the new desk setup. I'll put some B-roll up so you guys can see the whole setup. Kind of different from Miami, but simple, still effective. And yeah, we're settling into the new place. We have some stuff in the back, got the Christmas tree up. So yeah, still kind of settling in, but slowly getting the place together. And, you know, kind of to the video's point, like really just wanted to go into what we do, how we do it, how we make money, what we do for a living, all the details there, because I know we've referred to it in past videos, but we never really did a deep dive and explained exactly what we do and, you know, everything that goes into it. So yeah, if you guys have seen videos in the past, then you know I've talked about being in tech recruiting. It's kind of crazy to say, but I've been doing this for over 10 years now. It was never really something that I planned for. It kind of just happened after college, got into sales, learned about recruiting, and then took the plunge and just got into it. And, you know, I've been in different settings throughout my career. I started off on the agency side. Some people call that staffing. And that's where you fill positions for external companies. And then later in my career, I moved into working internally for larger companies like Meta and Capital One. But for the last 2 years, I've been running recruiting and sales at ECT Talent. I'll put a link to the website if you guys want to check it out. I'll also include my LinkedIn if you want to connect on there. So we're essentially a recruiting agency. We work with a lot of different companies from early and growth stage all the way up through enterprise organizations. So it really depends, but as an agency, it's a little bit different than working internally as a recruiter. Whenever you're working internally at a company like Capital One or Meta, you already have clients. You already have hiring managers that want to fill a role. The work is already there. Whenever you're recruiting for an agency, you have to go out and get the roles yourself. So 90% of it is sales. And whenever you're running your own agency, a lot of the time is spent on going out and getting new clients. The work that I do is 100% commission, but it can be pretty lucrative because it's only me and one other person. It's actually someone that I met while I was at Meta. We had both been at agencies. We had both worked internally at different companies. And we were kind of at the point where we wanted to branch off and do our own thing. You can only really do that if you have experience working internally or working at agencies. Like, you know, we had both had 10 plus years in the game. So it's not too much of a risk to go out and do your own thing. But yeah, the guy that I work with, he's a sales beast. He's always out talking to people, meeting new people. So he's very outgoing in that way. And that really does help with sales. I've had to grow into a sales role because I've, you know, been doing recruiting most of my career. So it's definitely something that I've evolved into, but it's not that hard of a transition. So going back to what we do, simply put, we make hires for other companies. I'll give you an example. It could be a small consulting company. It could be a small, warranty company. It could be a small tech company. We'll have to go out and source that new business, build those relationships with leaders, whether it's at the executive level, whether it's, you know, a director of engineering. We'll have to build that relationship and then influence them to work with us in order to make hires and ultimately make money. So one of our latest clients is a small consulting company. They do cloud solutions and implementations for other companies themselves. And they have about a 20-person team. They want to scale pretty fast this year, so they did want to bring on 2 people. And the first position was a senior manager of project management, and the second position was a senior systems engineer. So people who can work directly with clients and implement these solutions from a project management and then also engineering perspective. And how do we get these roles? Like, how do we start working on them to begin with? The guy that I work with has a really good relationship with that CEO. He happened to meet him out. They became friends. It wasn't really something that we were, you know, looking for in the beginning. We weren't actively sourcing new business from this relationship. It's just something that evolved into that. And after you become, you know, more comfortable with somebody, you can talk shop with them and, you know, you learn about what they do and you can also tell them about what you do. So eventually it led to that. And because they're looking to scale this year, they did want to bring on 2 people and use an external recruiting firm like ourselves for that specifically. So naturally we jumped at the opportunity. 2 different roles like that. It's going to be about 100K plus in salary for both positions. And if you're not familiar with how recruiting works in terms of getting paid, you essentially get a percentage of whatever the candidate's base salary you're placing is. So it can be anywhere from 20 to 30% of that new hire's base salary. And if they're over 100K plus, you can kind of do the math on that. But 2 positions, both direct hires, that's a great deal. You also have contract work as well, but that's a little bit different. It's kind of harder logistically. There's a lot of tax implications involved, and you essentially have somebody working hourly as an employee of your company. So that's pretty different, but it all kind of falls under the same umbrella. It can also be more lucrative as well because some of these contracts, they last longer than a year. But yeah, it's awesome because I get to engage with people on the client side. I also get to talk with candidates, learn about what they do. So I'm constantly engaging with business leaders, learning about their business, what different companies do. I'm also speaking with candidates and kind of getting a grasp of the landscape of wherever they're working at. So it's interesting from that perspective, the different dynamics between candidates and also clients. But it's awesome because it's so sales driven. You essentially eat what you kill, and you really have to grind to fight for and eventually close these deals. Whenever you do close something, it really is the best feeling. And what I love about recruiting is that it's a win-win-win for everybody involved. Myself, the client, and the candidate. And also you can do it from literally anywhere in the world. We just moved to the Washington, D.C. area. There's a lot more companies here. There's a lot more people to network with. Every Fortune 500 company throughout the US is here. So there's a lot more opportunity in that sense. I'm going to be taking advantage of that. So yeah, it's great. It gives you a lot of opportunity to create your own schedule, work wherever you want. It's pretty lucrative, and then it's also pretty engaging. Like, you really don't get bored doing this. But yeah, I'm going to link everything below. If you guys want to connect with me, feel free to do so. I'm also thinking about creating my own YouTube channel just centered around recruiting. So let me know if you think that's a good idea. Let me know if you want more information on this. Going to continue to build the company and build out this workspace and keep you guys posted.
So that's a little bit more of a deep dive into what we do, and I know we've mentioned it in a couple of videos before, but really wanted to take the time to explain exactly what we do. And we did move to Virginia about a month ago, which is kind of crazy that it's already been a month. And it's been a little bit of an adjustment because the weather is obviously not as good as in Miami, but we did have some really good weather when we arrived. It was about 70, 80s, but now kind of mid-end November, it's definitely cooling off, and we've had some really bad days already, unfortunately. So yeah, we might have to do a little trip to the sun at some point. But yeah, overall, it's been a good experience. We really like our new home. It's very spacious, very nice. We have the Christmas vibes going, as you can see. We're still settling in. We still have a couple of DIY projects we want to do and kind of make it our home. But overall, it's been really nice, and I hope this video also gives a little bit more insight on exactly why we moved. Also, a little disclaimer about the 25K. Not every month is like that. That is kind of what comes with being an entrepreneur. Some months we earn less, and some months we earn more. It really depends, and having your own business definitely comes with ups and downs. But yeah, we really like it. We love what we do. We get to make our own schedule and work on the things that give us energy. So for us, it's worth it, but some days can definitely be a little bit tough. And you never know when your next client is going to sign or when you're going to have your next payment. So those are all kind of things that come with starting a business. So going forward, we're going to be focusing on work a lot, but we do have a couple of trips coming up. We're going to go to DC this weekend and vlog everything there and show you guys around. And then I have a trip planned in January. I'm going back to the Netherlands. So I'm going to vlog there and show you guys my hometown. And then, like I mentioned, we may want to do a trip to the sun somewhere maybe in February or March. So definitely stay tuned for all the things that are coming. And again, like we mentioned in the beginning of the video, we would love to hear from you. What are your goals? Do you have your own business? Do you work a 9-to-5? What do you want in the future? Let us know in the comments, and like and subscribe if you want to see more.